For you that loves Brazil, I am here to tell you something. If you ever have been to Brazil or planning to go to Brazil, you should know one thing about Brazil. All that looks like is not. All that happiness that you see, it's people showing happiness when they are not real happy. This smile, this and then you see the carnival and all that, Don't really fall for that. Because in reality, the Brazilian people are struggling, and Brazilians like me, mix of black, white, indigenous, we are really, really discriminated in Brazil. And the Brazilian society is basically European people that migrate to Brazil after the First and the Second World War, and they took the power in '64 with a big revolution where actually they oppressed the Brazilian people and took over the power in '64, and then the Brazilian people tried to get in power again in the '70s, and then came the military, the ditadura, and really, really destroyed them. But they still try to fight, but it's very hard to find people that wants to speak about, because they know they speak today, they're gonna die tomorrow. But I don't give a damn. I am so sick and tired of people scared. I think we are right now with the revolution going on in Egypt, Yemen, and Tunisia. I think it's about time for the Brazilian people stand together. Either they are black, white, yellow, red, or green, and fight for this country and fight to set up our identity once for all, because Brazil is totally navigating in a lie. It's the wonder world where people believe so many things that doesn't exist. I think it's about time for the world to understand that Brazil, it is very important to the world in terms of natural resource, but it's also very important to the world to recognize who are the real Brazilians, especially when you travel in vacation to Brazil. You have to realize that most of the hotels and restaurants and hostels that the tourist goes to belongs to foreigners in Brazil. Nothing against the foreigners in Brazil. I think it's very good for the country. But it's very important that the Brazilian people get something out of the economy, because the economy in the world say, oh, Brazilian economy is going up, is going up. It's going up for the foreigners in Brazil, because for the Brazilians, nothing is going down, 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 down. The Brazilian people, they only get prostitution, drug dealers, jobs, and cleaning. Even with education or speaking other language, you're not gonna get anything in Brazil if you look like me, and especially if you dress like that. You're gonna get nothing. You're gonna get absolutely nothing, because in Brazil, the culture is European. Everything. If you travel there or if you watch Brazilian TV, you're going to see mainly brunettes that color their hair blonde because they want to look European, and everything has to have the European standard, because mainly the migration that is in control right now of the news and the society in Brazil are the immigrants that migrate to Brazil after the First and the Second World War, and they are not really Brazilians with roots that have been there for centuries and thousands of years, like the indigenous. The thing is, the real Brazilian, indigenous and black, they are too simple people in, well, here in outside in the world, they were struggling to survive because they needed water, they needed food. In Brazil, the indigenous just raise their hands like this and catch a fruit from the tree, you know? And the water has always been clear, full of fish, and they didn't learn to fight, like to make war and to stand together and say, we're gonna fight. They never learned that. So they're gonna fight, yes, when there is no food left. The day you see revolution in Brazil is because there is no food left. But that, I think that would be too late for the world as well. Because if there is no food left, it means all the rivers are gone, all the water is gone, everything is gone, so the world will also be gone. I really want to see Brazilian people stand together and fight. And perhaps the world should give a little help by coming to Brazil, and instead to give the money always to the foreigners that owns everything in Brazil and give nothing to the Brazilians, start to spend your money with Brazilian people and stay in Brazilian pousadas, hotel, hostels, and eat in Brazilian restaurant, and try to figure out all the time where is the Brazilian people and the natives, explore more the native stuff in Brazil instead to let yourself go in a hostel and just give your money when you come in vacation to things that doesn't really matters for the Brazilian people, because the Brazilian people will realize that we must save the nature and save the things when they feel safe themselves. Right now, they can't protect the Amazon if they are trying to protect what they're going to eat next month or tomorrow. It's very hard to fight for the nature when you don't have food. So subscribe to my channel and keep watching, because I'm gonna tell many things about Brazil.